Tonight, children with disabilities disadvantaged again. Car-O-Rama is back in Matamata and the Eco Walking Festival. Kia ora and good evening. Welcome to Central News on TV Central for Thursday the 19th of March. I'm Amanda Harper. In today's news, children with disabilities are far more likely to be living in poverty, according to a report released today. The Child Poverty Action Group launched the report, detailing the increased barriers families face to participating and being included in society. IHC Director of Advocacy Trish Grant welcomes the report and says we aren't doing enough for families with children with disabilities. IHC wants to see further investigation into why there's a drop in numbers receiving the Child Disability Allowance. At the same time, the numbers of children with disabilities is increasing. IHC says better data is needed so we can all be better informed and plan accurately for the future. Waikato Regional Council released their long-term plan consultation document earlier this week with a focus on water, biodiversity, roading, regional development and rates. The council are encouraging the public to give feedback, and Vaughan Payne, Chief Executive of the council, says lack of public debt for the region means rates can be kept lower.
And we're quite fortunate as a council that, unlike some others, we don't have any public debt. So the rates that we do collect are largely around capital works and our operations. So we're quite lucky in that respect, which is why we're able to keep our rate increases quite low.
There is a proposed increase on the flat rate that residents will pay, and Paula Southgate, chairperson of the council, says public need to think about how that will affect them.
So that means that the flat rate applied to ratepayers will be greater and the rate on capital value will be a little less. What this does, it does move the rates around a little bit, and so people on lower income properties may experience a slight increase because it's no longer on capital value. So the public need to look at that closely as to how it affects them in their community and talk to us about whether they support that approach, that rates movement.
We will have a further in-depth look into that interview with Paula and Vaughan tomorrow night. Bail has been granted to both men convicted for large-scale poaching in the Eastern Bay of Plenty. David Leaf appeared briefly in Rotorua District Court this week, where he was remanded on bail. Leaf from Te Teko was found guilty, along with Thomas Taffa from Kawerau, in November of poaching as many as 60 spawning trout from a highly valued spawning stream near Lake Rotoiti. Both Leaf and Taffa had warrants for their arrest issued in January when they failed to appear in court. Eastern Fish and Game manager Andy Garrick says he can only reiterate that this was some of the worst poaching that officers have dealt with in more than a decade. Last July, the pair were caught by Eastern Fish and Game staff and police pillaging trout from a stream leading into the lake. Penalties for poaching fish during winter spawning season range from a maximum of 2 years in jail or fines of up to $100,000. The men will be sentenced on April the 28th. The farming industry has demonstrated an ever-increasing commitment to improving effluent management, says the Waikato Regional Council. A record turnout to the 2015 Waikato Effluent Expo on Tuesday saw between 650 to 700 farmers, share milkers, workers and agri-industry professionals visiting the 55-plus exhibitors on show. Expo organiser Electra Callagher says the turnout highlights farmers' ongoing commitment to improving their environmental performance, despite a low payout this year. And now for our region's weather. Hamilton fine with light winds, high of 22 and low of 7. Rest of the Waikato the same. Paeroa 21 high and 10 low. Matamata 18 and a very chilly overnight low of 8. Te Awamutu 22 and 7. Tokorua 19 high and 6 for your low. Tauranga morning cloud fine with light winds as well, 21 and 11 low. Te Puke, your high is 19 and overnight low of 10. And for the marine forecast, on the west coast, Raglan, southeast 15 knots, easing Friday evening, a variable of 10 knots. High tide is at 11:24 p.m. And on the east coast, Bay of Plenty easing Friday afternoon, a variable of 10 knots, high tide at 8:08. Coming up in the show, the Matamata Car Orama. Welcome back to Central News. Louise Clark from Ag Results spoke with Anne-Marie about the health and safety law changes coming into effect later on this year.
It is timely to have this discussion around the amendments of the Health and Safety Act. We have had conversations with employers who are wanting to get serious about drug and alcohol policies in the workplace. Now, this just doesn't involve the managers, it's just not up to the managers. There is also your team leaders and your workers. Everybody gets involved, because at the end of the day, if anything should happen and the policies aren't followed, the liability does fall on the employer, and the fines of that are getting a lot bigger.
How will the law changes affect employers? What does it mean for them?
Okay, the law changes mean that if they do get fined, the fines can be up to $3 million, and that could really break some businesses. So employers know they have to do something about it. They are getting serious. They're toughening up with their staff to make sure that everybody is following health and safety rules, drug and alcohol in the workplace, making sure that there isn't any, and like a no policy for the drug and alcohol. And we can do that, and we can always help employers if they need the training and the education to go along with that.
Because that sounds like it could be a bit of a scary process to suddenly implement a drug and alcohol policy within the workplace.
Look, anything new is scary. Law cases have shown, just even with the mining disaster that there was, everybody knows that people now have to stand up and be accountable, and we need to put these things in place because people are our asset. And the directive comes from the top, and so everybody has to follow it. So there's a clear indication on what businesses are looking for.
How does Ag Results help employers with these changes? Talk me through the process.
Okay, it's not daunting. What we do is we just have a one-on-one with the business owner, find out what his clear action is that he wants to take regarding whether it be pre-employment testing or whether it be testing during a work time, whether it could be for a random cause or it could be post-incident. We also talk to them regarding their policies and procedures, making sure their procedures are in place, so when there is some random drug testing done or anything to that effect, it's no surprise. So there's no surprises all along the way. We can also help the employer support if there's a staff member that needs a little bit of support into rehabilitation. We can also help an employer with that as well.
It sounds like it could be quite a scary process.
Absolutely not, because there are a lot of employers who have fantastic staff. There could have been an incident in their life that maybe they have fallen off the rails a little bit. So it's just a matter of getting that staff member rehabilitated back into the workplace, if that is what the manager can see would be the best outcome for him and for the business.
What are the laws surrounding workplace drug testing?
Well, you see, that's the really interesting thing, because there aren't any. There's always been the health and safety laws and, the fit to the workplace. However, the drug and alcohol policies, there hasn't been anything, but it has shown through case studies that we do need to start looking at that and to put something in place to look after the workers and to make sure that everybody's on the same page with a clear objective of the business.
What are the benefits of a drug and alcohol testing program?
I think the benefits as far as pre-employment, that starts off with you're making sure that you've got the right person coming into your business. That type of person will understand that once they're in there, there's always the possibility they could be drug tested again. It's never to catch anybody out, it's to eliminate if something should go wrong in the workplace, that it wasn't to do with somebody under the influence of drug and alcohol. We have a lot of at-risk jobs out there anyway. There's people truck driving, there's people up scaffolds, there are some at-risk businesses and jobs out there, and we want to make sure that the people who are doing those jobs aren't putting themselves or their work colleagues or even the public in danger by being under the influence of drug and alcohol.
For more details or information on workplace drug and alcohol testing, Phone ag results. This Sunday, the Matamata Car-O-Rama is back in full force with plenty of cars on display, as well as activities for the whole family. One of the organisers, Terence McDermott, tells me more.
People turning up and showing their cars, and with a few fun things to do during the day.
What kind of cars will they be showing?
Anything from hot rods to later model cars, anything with wheels on, most of the time.
Yeah.
All sorts of things like that.
Now, are these cars that people have been working on for a long time?
Some of them have, some of them they've brought them. Yeah, some have been stripped down completely to a bare shell and then rebuilt up. And
So it's a
Something
chance
that
to
way.
sort of show off your
some of them,
pride and
people
joy.
show off your car that you've done either so many months' work or
Yeah,
5 or 10 years' work on it. You know, yeah.
nice. Now, do you do that yourself? I know you're from Terence's Paddle Beating. Do you build your own cars?
Yeah, I can build. Yeah, I build cars and done it for like 35 years or so.
How much work actually goes into it?
Lots. Every nut and bolt off the car, paint stripped off it, rebuild the motors, rebuild the diffs, brake pedals, everything gets rebuilt. Put them all back
Nice.
together again when they're painted, and yeah.
Now, Car-O-Rama, I understand this is the 3rd year running, so
Yep.
it must be like a bit of a success. Now, do you have kind of competitions on the day, things like that?
Yeah, we have car limbo. Everybody jumps in the cars to get them down as low as they can and go under the limbo. We have a piston toss for the guys, and we have a rotor toss for the girls. Going to have a tug war machine out there as well.
Yep.
Um,
What else is new this year compared to last year?
got DJ Kane out there, Fraser, he's that, and band, school college band, the Alliance, they're playing.
I heard there's also a helicopter rides, is that right?
Yep, the helicopter's going to be there. They give rides. He's going to charge for the rides, but yeah, he's there if you want to go for a ride.
Nice, that's a neat opportunity. And also there's a car simulator too?
Yeah, car simulator there. You can jump on that and do some racetracks and stuff and that.
And kids can do that as well?
Yep, kids can do that, yeah.
Yeah, so there's plenty for all the children to do.
Yeah, there's face painting, that sort of stuff.
Yep.
There's going to be some jewellery stores and things like that for people to buy and stuff like
Okay,
that.
so a few little market stalls as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have to be a car enthusiast to enjoy a day like this?
No, just come along, have a day out, and watch people doing things with cars if you want to, and yeah.
Yeah. Now you've been involved right from the beginning. Why did you decide to help organise something like Car-O-Rama?
Just to have a car show back in Matamata again. Hasn't been really one for a while, so we thought we'd just give it a go and see what happens. And
And 3 years later, still going?
It's going pretty good, so yeah.
And do you get people from around the country, or is it just around this area?
Yeah, we've had people from Auckland and Wellington, Palmerston North, anywhere really, yeah.
Do you begin to kind of recognise some old faces?
You get to know people, yeah, as you go to car shows around the countryside.
Yeah. So there's sort of a certain community aspect to this lifestyle.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot of you get to know a lot of people. So,
And what are you most looking forward to about the day?
just everybody come along, have a good day. Really, that's the best thing. Just what people enjoying the cars and just enjoying walking around and seeing things. And,
Yeah. And does it cost to get in?
it's a gold coin donation.
Yep.
And $5 for a car.
Just a gold coin donation. It's on this Sunday at 222 Mangawhero Road. Stay with us, because after the break is our first look at our new reporter Rachel and the Eco Walking Festival. Welcome back. The Eco Walking Festival is held throughout our regions. Enjoy Connecting Hills and Oceans is what the acronym stands for, and as Rachel Sutton found out, there are many hills and oceans to connect in the Waikato and the Bay.
about enjoying connecting the hills and the ocean. So this is the 12th year that the festival's been going. It started from the Kaimais and goes up to the Coromandel. Last year we added in the South Waikato region, and this year we've added in Tauranga. So we've got 7 regions that we cover in total.
And some of the walks are already booked out.
We do. We've got some really popular ones. One's to Mare Island. This year it was an overnight walk and that's full. We've got one that walks from the end of Matahui Road in Katikati over to Matakana Island at the Mud Flats, and that's fully booked. And also another Katikati one which is up to the Ananui Falls, so they're popular.
And what are some of the other walks that we can still be a part of?
Well, there are 39 walks altogether, so there's plenty left available. We've got some great educational walks. We've got one in Kinleith Forest, which looks at some old power sites and old milling sites. We've got one which is an archaeological walk in the Papamoa Hills. We've got stand-up paddleboarding in Whangamata. We've got another couple of overnight ones, one in the Kaimais, which is good for beginners who aren't experienced in overnighting in the bush, and another one up the Coromandel. So there's a lot of walks that range from about an hour to about 7 hours.
Can you tell me about the competition element of the festival?
Yeah, we run a photography competition, so we really encourage everyone to take their cameras out walking with them and try and capture the spirit of the festival. So just capturing people who are getting out and enjoying the walking in the bushes.
Now, a set topic is Kauri dieback, but this year you're taking an educational approach.
Yeah, we've been really lucky to be supported by the Kauri dieback team. Unfortunately, the Kauri dieback disease has reached the Coromandel, but it hasn't reached the Kaimais. So because we have walkers that come from around New Zealand for the festival, we want to make sure that they don't transport that disease anywhere. So we've been given brochures and educational packs and a little scrubbing brush for every person to clean their boots before they go into the bush and around the Kauri trees.
For people who want to register for the walk, where do they go?
It's best if they go online, so they go to www.ecowalkfest.org.nz, and all of the information is on there about the walks and the registrations, and if they need to talk to anyone, just ring the local visitor information centre.
The New Zealand Mural Contest and Arts Festival is this year. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes, it is. It's coming up in Katikati, opening on the 28th of September. It's a great festival. We are asking for submissions from artists now, so we ask artists to send in a small copy of what they are wanting to paint as part of the festival. The theme this year is the natural treasures of New Zealand, so it's quite a wide scope for people to interpret. It could be animals, birds, fish, mountains, whatever. So yeah, that's an exciting time because the winners or the people who are chosen to participate in it then spend a week painting the murals in Katikati, and alongside that we've got a sculpture competition, a photography competition, also a competition of wear our paper, so the local Katikati Advertiser gets made into outfits and you can parade those around town. And on the Saturday, I think it's the 3rd of October, there's a massive market day. We've got some amazing body painting and chalk art activities happening, and town really comes alive. It's very exciting for Katikati, being of course Mural Town, New Zealand.
The Blokes in Shed Ramble is on this weekend. What can we expect from that?
Yeah, this is really cool. This is the 3rd time we've run it, and we always do it as a fundraiser for a different community group in Katikati. So this year it's for the new build of the St John's Ambulance station, and they had to raise I think it was something like $300,000 to build their new station, and they're pretty close to doing that. So the aim is that you head out and look at Blokes' sheds. So we've got 14 different sheds on the Ramble. It's $10 a ticket. You can get your tickets at the gate or from the Katikati Information Centre, and if you go on to katikati.org.nz website, all the details are there. But it's a great fundraiser, and it's not just for blokes to get out and look at blokes' sheds, because women and kids love it too. It's amazing what people have in their sheds.
Another event that you hold is the markets. What can we expect from the markets?
We do. We've got a really, really good plant and produce market, which is every Friday except for Easter, the Good Friday. So that's from 4 till 6 in the main street of Katikati by the AMP Showgrounds. And the other one is Moggy's Market, and that's the first Saturday of the month, and that's a really good market in town. Lots of bric-a-brac and plants and goodies to be found.
If you would like to register for the Eco Walking Festival, visit ecowalkfest.org.nz. We will be seeing more of Rachel coming up in the next few weeks. The Hamilton Cap Job Club brings together job seekers once a week in a supportive environment. They are trained by coaches in taking practical steps towards employment. Anne-Marie spoke with the manager of CAP Job Club to find out how they differ from other similar services.
So how does the Job Club work? Firstly, membership is open to absolutely anybody. Obviously, one of the key issues is for people that are at the lower end of the spectrum, the poorer people who are struggling to find jobs. And so that's been his focus all the way through, helping the more poor and needy. So CAP Job Club, while it's open to anybody and everybody, the key driver is to help the poor and the needy.
How does somebody get involved? Do they need to be referred?
So what Job Club does is people come to us because they want a job. As part of that, we run a series of 8 courses. Those courses cover everything from giving them a bit of confidence back because they may have lost jobs, through to handling the interviews, how to handle the interviews, what employers are looking for, and that whole and everything in between.
How does Job Club work? Talk me through the process. Somebody has got in touch with Job Club. What happens then?
The Job Club coach is a mentor and a coach, as it says, and they get alongside these people right from day one, and they work through them setting goals, objectives, and these are a key part of turning their lives around so that there's some focus, that the focus isn't purely on, I just need to keep applying for jobs, applying for jobs, applying for jobs. This helps them plan for applying for jobs and a program for goals and objectives that will work them right through to the end of the program.
What other benefits might be gained from getting involved with Job Club?
They are building networks. It allows them to build networks amongst themselves. It allows us to build networks with them, and it also allows us to go out into the community and build networks there. There's also the opportunity for them to gain confidence and to get some of their self-belief back. Many of these people have lost jobs and have that stigma that goes with it of redundancy, losing jobs. And so there's a little bit of encouragement needed there for them to gain back some self-belief. There's also, for some of them, gaining a little bit of dignity again, so it's just being there for them, being alongside them, encouraging them, giving them skills that they need to attack this big thing, which is finding a job.
For more information on CAP Job Club, give them a call. That is it from me tonight. To stay up to date with everything, like us on Facebook, search centralnews.tv, or if you think you might have a story lead for us, get in contact by emailing news@tvcentral.co.nz. We would always love to hear from you. I will be back again tomorrow night with more stories from the Waikato and the Bay of Plenty. I'm Amanda Harper. Have a lovely evening. Pō Marie.
This has been an Alpha Media production, a division of Television Media Group.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.